KGVO Missoula Sports Talk tonight and streaming online at Newstalk, KGVO.com.
Yes, it is true. Some people do know us here on Sports Talk tonight. Denny Bedard, believe it or not, it is true. We have made our mark in the world, at least in this little burg of Missoula, Montana.
You know, we got people wanting to be on this show. I don't know what that says about their character, but you and I, just before we went on, talking about, this person would like to come on and that person would like to come on. I'm thinking, well,
a lot of free time on their hands. A lot of free time.
You know, might ruin your career, but come on in. We don't mind.
Boy, a beautiful high 60s afternoon.
Yeah.
And this is why they call it the Garden City. Denny, it is beautiful. I drove up to Columbia Falls today for work and coming over the missions at about 7 o'clock this morning, 7:30. Oh, that has got to be the prettiest sight coming through St. Ignatius.
Sunrise-ish,
Yep.
You caught that?
Yep.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Was it foggy? It was foggy in the Bitterroot.
You know what? It was a little foggy, not just little pockets.
Yep.
But Sports Talk tonight, Gurns and Bedard.
Yes.
We are live from the KGVO studio. Remember, we are streaming worldwide on Newstalk.KGVO.com. On the AM side, 1290. Over on the FM side, 98.3. Follow us on Twitter at Sports Talk Back. Our podcasts are online at Newstalk.KGVO.com. Our phone number is always 406-721-1290. Our special guest coming to us from Corvallis, Oregon, the director of basketball operations for the Oregon State Beavers, former coach or director of operations here at University of Montana, former Carroll College basketball player, former head coach at Big Fork High School, Whitefish.
One of those two.
Big Fork,
I think I got it in the bio here somewhere.
Big Fork. And,
Big Fork, yes, 2011 to 13.
And Kurt Paulson will join us on the phone, and you know, we're going to talk about we'll talk about Wayne Tinkle a little bit, I'm sure, and Trace Tinkle and the prospects of the Oregon State basketball program this year.
Yeah, and just a quick programming note for you trivia fans, and I'm going to sweeten the pot tonight too. We normally do that. We normally do that going into the first break, but we're going to get to that break just a little bit early.
Your pot is sweet, Denny.
Thank you so much, Scott. I have to think about that.
Yep.
So we'll do trivia down near the bottom of the hour, just a little bit past, and as usual, we have our gift card for the Works Car Wash at Happy Days and our $10 Fuddruckers gift certificate. But I wanted to let you know that I'm also going to give away 4 complimentary passes to Scarywood. Are you familiar with the Scarywood theme park? It's basically Silverwood, which is just a little bit north of Coeur d'Alene, Halloween style, Scarywood.
I have not been there, Denny, but I know what it is.
I looked at the website. That was scary enough for me. But but I'm going to give away 4 complimentary passes to that with our trivia package. So that'll happen at about 6:35 this evening. A little bit later than normal. Just want to let you know.
Oh, and Denny, there is I'm gonna just tease this a little bit. There are a lot of candidates for stupid athlete, coach, players. I mean, it is tough. It is tough to figure this one out, Denny.
We should put our listeners' minds at ease. No, we have not been contacted by Adidas.
No, we have not, Denny.
Good grief.
Denny, we have not.
How, maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago you could possibly, how do you think you can even get away with that in 2017? I mean, it's unreal, Gurns.
Well, it's kind of like thinking you can get away with providing hookers for your basketball players. So,
I guess so.
And that's another tease because it's the same program.
For the benefit of those listening who may not know, and I don't know that I got the facts exactly correct, but this whole I don't know if they're calling it Adidas Gate yet or not, but they were in communication with a number of different college basketball programs, not just Louisville, although Louisville today put on administrative leave their head coach, Rick Pitino. I think their AD and an assistant as well.
They're and Pitino would be gone today if not for the $44 million buyout clause that they have to figure out.
And if I get you probably maybe know a little bit more about just the top of the trees here. If I get it correctly, allegedly somebody from Adidas saying, "Hey, we will help. We will provide a little funding to some of these recruits that you really, really want in exchange for, additional promo." They're already Adidas schools, I assume, but maybe I'm wrong there.
Yes, no, and here's kind of the gist of it. Yesterday, the FBI charged 10 men including a top Adidas executive and 4 assistant coaches, with using hundreds of thousands of dollars to influence top-rated recruits in their school of choice, their shoe sponsor, and agents. Louisville was the main one, and also assistants at Arizona, Auburn, Oklahoma State, and USC. A bunch of big-name programs there, Denny.
That's right. One name that jumped out to me from Auburn was Chuck Person, who had a lengthy NBA career. The rifleman.
The rifleman, that's right. And what they were doing, they would give a kid $100,000 to sign at this school, or they gave the assistant coach $100,000 to steer said player to a particular agent. Just really, really, and it's a world dominated by Nike, and Under Armour's coming on the scene, and Adidas is kind of, sitting there going, well, God, we got to do something, and they don't do it the right way. They go by way of big time violations. I mean, and Louisville, and I'm here to tell you, Patino's been in trouble before. They're already on probation for this paying for escorts for basketball recruits last year, or maybe the year before. I mean, this could be the death penalty for Louisville basketball. I mean,
very well be.
So, I don't know. Be a shame, but
well, I hope I didn't steal your stupid athlete, because like you said, you had lots to choose.
No, they're in the running. So that tells you something.
They were a contender. I just had to spill the beans.
I was a contender.
It was fresh in my mind. And it was a good diversion from thinking about what happened to our Montana Grizzlies this past Saturday. So
that's a good segue, Denny.
Yeah, it is a good segue, Gurns.
Oh boy, what a you know what? It is amazing how the fortunes. I was watching the Seahawks and the Titans, and it was an ugly, ugly game. It was 6-0. I think Russell Wilson had passed for 18 yards. There's like 2 minutes left in the first half. And all of a sudden, he throws a couple of deep balls, gets him to a touchdown with like 47 seconds left, and then the Titans run it down, and they end up kicking a field goal. It's 9-7, right?
Yeah.
And so still, there's really been no offense going on. And what was the final score? Was 34-27?
I think it's maybe 33-27, something like that.
I mean, and it was a
so there was a lot of points in the second half.
A lot of points in the second half. So and it's kind of like the Grizzlies in Eastern Washington, 24-6. You kind of think that you've got the game in hand a little bit, and then all of a sudden, 43 points in the second half. 43, 49 to 42, correct?
48-41. They scored 6 touchdowns in the second half. They were down 24-6 at halftime. Ended up winning the ball game 48-41. I mean, it's not like Montana didn't score, but they just had no answers for that onslaught in the second half. And I guess I would also include that I think Eastern Washington scored on their first possession of the third quarter, but still it goes pretty late into the third quarter before they score again. But that's really when the wheels came off. That's when Eastern Washington scores a touchdown on a fairly long pass, 30-some yards. The first possession, so they kick off. Montana gets the ball back. Gresh Jensen throws a ball that he probably should not have thrown. Eastern Washington takes over on the intercept at about the 50. Their first offensive play, 50-yard touchdown. All of a sudden we're tied, and they've got 21 points in the third quarter.
And it's really weird because in the fourth quarter, Eastern Washington was able to pretty much do what they wanted to do offensively. It looked like the Grizzlies kind of ran out of gas, and you think, I love the no huddle offense. I love the get up and down. But I tell you what, when you go 3 and out, and it's for a total of like 45 seconds or whatever, and then your defense is right back on the field.
Yeah, it was.
There's good things with the no huddle, and there's detriments to the no huddle.
Not to be too cliche about it, but it was such a obvious tale of two halves. And time of possession, you say, well, the defense is wearing down. Time of possession, when you looked at it, I think Eastern Washington maybe by 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't
something like that. But I bet if you broke it down and looked a little more carefully, time of possession in the first half, time of possession in the second half, that's when you saw the Montana defense getting gassed on top of confused, which that's not a very good combo.
Made the receivers for made the average wide receivers for Eastern Washington look like superheroes. And I've heard of some stuff in regards to Coach Stitt kind of throwing his defensive coaches under the bus. And and you know what I have to say to that, Denny? You know what? Really, Captain Obvious, and I'm not making fun of Coach Stitt, but I mean, all he did was say what everybody else was thinking. Say the defense didn't play good. They allowed too many points. Jobs are on the line. Families are on the line. Now it's time to, call things how they are, and maybe that hey, a lot of times that lights fires underneath somebody. So
that's a good point.
So, anyways, we're big boys here, right? Not everybody gets a trophy, Denny.
Nope. I am not giving you a participation medal this week.
I do not want one, Denny. Hey, we are going to take a quick break a little bit earlier than normal. We are going to have Kurt, not Craig Paulson.
I know.
Kurt Paulson from Oregon State men's basketball program. He will join us when we come back on Sports Talk Tonight.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk Tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We are back. Sports Talk Tonight, brought to you in part by the Orange Street Food Farm. Locally owned and operated grocery store featuring the freshest fruits and vegetables, fresh meats, and a great beer and wine selection. By Grizzly Liquor, located downtown next to the Iron Horse. Big Sky, big selection, and online at grizzlyliquor.com. And by the Ranch Club, golf, dining, entertainment, events, and the incredible pool. Visit them online at ranchclub.com, located just off of Mullen Road. Denny Bedard, welcome back.
I got to tell you before we let our guest on here, I sent an email to Coach Tinkle yesterday. I said, Wayne, I wanted you to know Kurt's going to phone in Guernsey's and my radio show on KGVO here in Missoula, so the instant stardom that comes with that may make him a hot commodity all over the country. I just wanted you to be prepared. Wayne replied, I'm sure you guys will stoke his induction into the Carroll Hall of Fame. So I said, indeed. In fact, he contacted us wanting to be on, so something's up there. So
hey, Kurt Paulson, all the way from Corvallis, Oregon, the men's director of basketball operations over there for the Beavers. How you doing, Kurt?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
You know,
terrific.
The weather is just stunning here today. You know, we're already sick of the rain, but we were sure glad it came.
Yeah, well, shoot, I had so much fun. You guys had me on about 4 years ago. I had so much fun, I wanted to get back on, so here I am.
About once every 4 years enough, huh? Yeah.
well, let's hope that you have more fun this year during the basketball season than y'all did last year.
Yeah, we will. We will. Last year was tough, had some injuries and a very young team, but we're going to be good this year, and we're excited about the team that we got here this year. So a lot of good stuff about to happen.
Yeah.
Now I was reading in the prospectus. Did Trace get a red shirt last year?
He did.
So
he ended up playing only about 5 games at the beginning of last season, and then he had the broken wrist. And the NCAA granted him a medical red shirt, so he'll have 3 seasons left.
Oh, that's great.
You know, Kurt,
he's got 3.
It probably doesn't surprise you, but it probably feels really good that you guys are going into your 4th year at Oregon State, but still, because of the staff and all the connections and basically family that Wayne Tinkle made here, it's probably makes you feel pretty good that I think Montana Grizzly basketball fans have sort of adopted the Beavers as their second team. Do you sense that?
Yeah, they definitely have. You know, Coach Tinkle's got some great connections there, and he brought a few of us out from his staff. So, yeah, there's still a lot of Grizz Beavers and people following the program from a couple states away.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So being the director of basketball operations, Kurt, why don't you just kind of give us a brief synopsis of what that all entails?
Yeah, so I basically help the coaches with everything. There's a lot of stuff that we do day to day that people don't realize. You know, if you're not involved, you might think when the season's not going, there's probably not a lot going on, but it's pretty much a 12-month year recruiting cycle now. So we're hosting recruits and going out and seeing kids and then following them on the circuits in the recruiting months. So I help out the coaches with a lot of that stuff, and also help with the guys, taking care of the guys, making sure they got everything from gear to food, making sure they're getting their scholarship money, housing, all that kind of stuff. So between those things keeps me busy, and then lots of other day-to-day stuff that comes up helping the coaches out.
Besides the obvious, bigger school, bigger conference, and all of that, did anything really just kind of catch you off guard or surprise the heck out of you when you transitioned from an assistant at the University of Montana to this position at Oregon State a few years ago?
I would say these big Power 5 conferences, they have these TV contracts, the Pac-12 network or the SEC network. So the scale of everything is just so magnified. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is, that can be facilities, and it can be fan bases, that kind of stuff. So I would just say that the magnitude of all that money that's coming in from those TV contracts with each league, that's probably the biggest difference in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Some schools like to subsidize that from certain shoe companies.
I'm dying to hear how you tippy toe through this one. I'm glad you take the lead. I'm dying to hear how you handle it.
I'm happy that Oregon State is a Nike school, but boy, a lot of stuff alleged going on right now as far as Adidas and some pretty big name institutions out there.
Yeah, I was actually kind of hoping to hear your guys' take on all that.
Well,
but it's gonna get dicey. It's really unfortunate and kind of disappointing of how that's all shaken out. And those shoe companies have a major influence on these recruits, especially in men's basketball.
Right.
But I guess my take on it is, you've got Nike, who's the head and shoulders the biggest player in the game. You've got Under Armour that's coming on strong, and Adidas kind of sitting there going, well, heck, what are we doing here? And when you start waving $100,000 at kids and coaches, and I mean, it's $100,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming they're trying to stay relevant, and they're going about it in bad ways.
And answer your question, Kurt, we led with that at 6:00, but I think it was just really our reaction was, how do you possibly think that in 2017, in the age of social media and everything else, that you're possibly not going to get under the magnifying glass and get scrutinized for something like that? Was it time for a team meeting, a coach's meeting? Did Coach Tinkle call and say, guys, let's make 100% sure, without a doubt, every single thing is above board like we believe it is? Was there any sort of discussions like that after this broke a few days ago?
You know what? Wayne has always hired good guys, so I just don't think he was too worried about that. He wasn't worried at all, to be honest, because he knows the guys he's hiring, and that's one of his best attributes is surrounding himself with good people and also recruiting high character student athletes. So he actually really didn't huddle us, and we all obviously heard about it on the social media and the news and stuff, and we've had a few conversations in the office today. But Wayne was actually recruiting yesterday when the news broke, and then today we kind of convened and talked. But like I said, it's just disappointing for the student athletes. We're kind of all in this thing to help those kids out.
That's a great point.
In one way or the other, and this type of thing puts a damper on that, definitely.
You're listening to Sports Talk Tonight with Gerns and Bedard. We have Kurt Paulson, who's the Director of Basketball Operations for the men's basketball program at Oregon State. Kurt, what do you guys got lined up this year as far as preseason tournaments?
We're heading down to Florida for a nice tournament. It's called the Advocare Invitational, and it's an 8-team tournament. We open up with St. John's. It's over Thanksgiving week, and that's kind of a true tournament format, and kind of like a little mini state tournament, 8-team tournament, and that'll be around Thanksgiving. And like I said, St. John's is our first opponent. I believe we do have a chance to play Missouri, who's supposed to be one of the top teams this season. And so that'll be an exciting trip for our guys. Get down to Florida and play in that tournament. And then we also host. They brought this thing back to Portland. There's a lot of Oregon State fans up, alumni in that area, and we kind of brought back this tournament up there, and we're hosting St. Louis is coming out, and we're playing them kind of in a little doublehead, little format thing up in Portland. And so those are our tournaments in the preseason, and then Pac-12 play will begin right after Christmas.
All right. You know, you mentioned one thing that one of the many things Wayne Tinkle, your head coach, is good at is hiring smart people and recruiting good players. Another thing he's really good at is generating fan loyalty. I mean, that guy can energize a crowd. You had to fight your way through a 5-27 season, and I would sure hope, and I'd like to believe that just because of all of the injuries and all of the challenges you guys had to go through, I got to believe that your fan base is sticking pretty loyal to Wayne and you guys on his staff.
Oh, absolutely. They love Wayne out here. You'd be surprised at how many similarities there are between Oregon State and Montana. It's a little bit bigger scale, of course, but there's so many similarities, and they just have taken to Wayne, and he's rallied the troops. And then in our first 2 years here, we had no expectations, and in our second year, Coach took them to the NCAA tournament, and that hadn't been done since Gary Payton played at Oregon State in 1990.
Yeah.
So they love Coach. We were dealt a tough hand last year. We had a lot of injuries, and then the year before we had graduated 6 guys, and we were counting on another kid coming back as a starter, and he had some health issues and wasn't able to play. So just kind of a few things, bad cards were dealt last year, but we got a full recruiting class for next season, and we got a 16-man roster. We're healthy and looking forward to the season.
Well, I grew up in Oregon in the first part of my long life, and I was a huge, AC Green, Steve Johnson, Ortiz, Gary. When I was a senior in high school, they had Prime Sports, which is now Root Sports.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And they played every Oregon State. And Gary Payton, man, that his senior year. I mean, you rushed home from your practice to get there and see what the glove was gonna do, and it was good to see you guys kind of get back there, and I know you'll get back again. What's the makeup of your team look like this year, and what kind of style do you guys play on offense?
Well, we're gonna have some really good guards, and Trace will be a major player, kind of at that 3 spot. But I think we're going to do a little bit more pressing than we were able to do last year. And then we have a 6'10" kid from Troutdale, Oregon, and he's going to be like an all-conference player this year. So he's back there blocking shots, and he can run the floor. So I would like to think that we're going to play a lot more up-tempo than we did last year, real similar to our second year here when we had a lot more depth, and that's what we'll have this year. We got 6 new kids coming in, couple kids from Oregon, and some graduate transfer. So we got enough guys to make a run, and I know Coach is really excited to get back on the court, kind of get that sour taste out of our mouth from last year, and get back to winning this year.
Which you did the first 2 seasons, very successful for you and for Coach Tinkle and everybody. Those first 2 seasons. Then last year, the wheels came off with all the injuries. Do you kind of feel now, Kurt, that you're maybe a little bit under the radar again in the Pac-12?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know what the coaches in the media will end up picking us. That stuff will happen here mid-October. They have some media days down in San Francisco, and that stuff will all shake out. But we're kind of adopting just a hard hat mentality, get back to work, and not really worrying about the predictions and all that stuff. And I know the guys have worked their butts off since last season, putting on weight in the weight room and just getting in the gym and getting back to work. So that's the mentality we've adopted, and I'm really excited to play that first game and kind of see it all come to fruition, you know?
Well, I tell you what, I always get excited when NCAA basketball starts. I can't stand watching the pros. I'll watch the NBA championships or what have you. But
I don't even know if I did that this year. Maybe in one game.
I think I was in a hotel room. I think in Wyoming, so I was.
That's when that was.
Yeah, I was very bored.
A prisoner of that, but yeah, but college basketball. I don't care who's on. It's a college basketball game.
Yeah,
so I'll watch it.
It's you're still looking for that Hoosiers moment in college basketball. Yeah. And sometimes it happens.
Yeah, Kurt, have you had your Hoosiers moment yet in your young life? No, still waiting?
Not that I know of, but we will see. Maybe it's this season. I just kind of hope with all these allegations and these investigations coming out, I just hope it doesn't put a big black eye on college basketball because, the majority of the coaches are doing it the right way. They're working hard and stuff, and hopefully the fans will appreciate those guys who are doing it the right way, and these allegations and investigations and stuff will sort itself out, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I think you said it very well when we asked you that question a few minutes ago. Is that regardless of who done it and where it shakes out, it's just kind of it's an embarrassment to your profession.
It is. And the sad thing is there's a lot of great stories out there of kids who are, maybe walking onto a team and earning a scholarship, doing it the right way. And there's tons of stories of success out there. We just don't always hear those. We're oftentimes hearing of all the negative stuff like the stories that broke yesterday. So,
yeah, it's a shame, but we'll see how it shakes out. Heck.
Maybe harken back a little bit to the early days of your relationship with Wayne Tinkle. You were an assistant at Carroll, and then you came on as a grad assistant here, went and coached at Big Fork, and then back to Montana. So obviously you've known each other for a little while.
Yeah, I believe this is like the 7th year I've worked for Wayne, and obviously I love working for him. He's treated me unbelievable, packed up, and followed him to Corvallis, and we've had a great experience out here trying to get this program up and running. So, yeah, I'm just thankful that I did meet Coach. He's treated me great, and I love working for him, and moved all the way out here to try to help him get this thing going. So I've been really, really blessed to work for him.
Kurt, you get back to the state often?
We try to get back once or twice a year. My wife's from Missoula, and I always, I listen to you guys, try to keep up a pulse on all the Missoula sports talk, and so I keep tabs on you guys. But we're actually coming back next weekend. We, like Coach told you, one of my Carroll teams, we have a little ceremony for us next weekend up in Helena, so I got to get back for that.
All right.
And then probably the next time will be next summer or so. But, yeah, we do like to get back and obviously miss all the great people back there. But I'd like to keep tabs on everybody through you guys and the Missoula and all that good stuff.
Well, we keep tabs on you guys down there too, Kurt.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Well, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Well, hey, we will let you go. You probably got to get recruiting or something.
Season's right around the corner. Lots to do, that's for sure.
And when is practice underway in your orange and black scrimmage or whenever you call it? I imagine all that stuff's coming up real soon too, huh?
Yeah, right around the corner. We start practice next week.
Oh, geez.
We'll have some scrimmages later in October, and then once November hits, I think our first game's on the 3rd. And then we'll be going hard for about 4 or 5 months. So keep tabs on us, and look out for Trace. He's going to have a big year, and keep tabs on the Beavers.
Will do.
We sure will, Kurt. We wish you guys luck. Say hi to Wayne, and hopefully we'll catch up with you during the season.
All right, fellas. Have a good one.
Thank you, Kurt.
Kurt Paulson.
Yeah, it's fun.
Director of Basketball Operations for the men down there at Oregon State, the Beavers.
Yep. Cool. And that's true. I think a lot of people because of Wayne have really embraced that team. Not that they're terribly far away. There's probably some following anyway because it's Pacific Northwest and all. But I think just his persona and his presence and and the sincerity and the way he does things, you can't help but follow him and root for him.
He is one of the coolest guys that I know.
Yeah.
We used to play city basketball together. I played more inside than he did. I think he's allergic to the lane.
What was your job? Here, Wayne. Here's the ball, or what?
I just ran and feed Wayne. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, or give it to Brian Schwain so he can do a 360-degree dunk.
Of course. Yeah.
Here, Guernsey, do this, do that, do this. Yeah, okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Can I get me some water?
But hey, you were on the team.
And Wayne Tinkle, what a great man. My parents remembered him when I was a freshman playing football. I went with them to 4B's to have breakfast, and Wayne and his wife Lisa just happened to be there back from Europe or whatever the deal was, and I had met him once, and he walked over to the table and introduced himself to my folks and talked to them for about 5 minutes, and walks away, and they're like, well, who was that? And I'm like, well, that's Wayne Tinkle. He played basketball here, blah, blah. Oh, my, he's just a great. This is when he was just a young, 25, 26 years old.
He's always had that.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah.
Great family.
A real class guy, real gentleman, good public relations guy. Just
great family.
Yeah, terrific.
Well, hey, Denny, while we're here.
As promised.
Big time trivia package here.
We held off
on
trivia.
It's scary good.
Yeah. Oh, well done, Gerns. We held off on our normal trivia time because we wanted to get Kurt Paulson on, and promised at the bottom of the hour. So 721-1290 if you do know our trivia. Besides the usual, of course, which is pretty dang good, you get a gift card for the Works Car Wash at Happy Days Car Wash. You got to pull into Happy Days and check out the new Vacs they've got there. They're right behind the wash bay, but they are absolutely phenomenal. You have never used car vacs like these. So the Works Car Wash, got a gift card for that at Happy Days on Brooks between Pizza Hut and Fairbridge Inn. Our $10 gift certificate to Fuddruckers, world's greatest hamburgers. Whatever you order off that menu, you top it yourself at Fuddruckers on North Reserve. And we're going to include 4 complimentary passes to Scarywood. I know that's a little ways down the road. You go west on I-90 and a little bit north of Coeur d'Alene, but they really do it up.
There's a lot of people from Missoula that go partake in that.
Yeah, because it's the Halloween version of the Silverwood theme park. So a lot of people know Silverwood and Scarywood, which only goes, the reason I wanted to give these away tonight and give away all 4 of them at once is that is only until Halloween, of course. October 28th is the expiration date on these passes. So, but at least that gives you a month to use them. Hopefully you can do that if you know the answer at 721-1290. We take you back 20 years to Montana, Portland State football. The first full season at Washington Grizzly Stadium, and the home opener against the Vikings. Of course, that is our upcoming opponent on Saturday. But how did that go 20 years ago? A, Montana won 35-14. B, the teams tied 24-24. Or Portland State won 21-3. First full season at Washington Grizzly Stadium, 87. It was the home opener, the season opener against the Vikings. How did it go? A, Montana won 35-14. B, the teams tied 24-24. Or C, Portland State won 21-3. We need an answer at 721-1290. As Gurn says, make it a scary good answer.
Did you say 1987?
Yes, sir.
That's 30 years ago, Denny.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I did. I typed.
That's a long time ago.
I typed 20. I meant to type 30. Yeah, good save.
Wow. Yeah, I would have got it if it was 20, but 30 is just, my memory's shot. Hey, give us a call if you know the answer. 721-1290. We'll be right back. Sports Talk Tonight. Gurns and Bedard.
Sports.
Denny, we are back. Sports Talk Tonight. Gurns and Bedard, brought to you in part by Bell McCall Ford. Great selection of new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Bell McCall is your locally owned low-cost auto dealer for over 100 years in downtown Hamilton. By Granite Pharmacy, locally owned and operated pharmacy on South Avenue between Shopko and Big Sky High School. Find them at granitepharmacy.com. And by the Peak Health and Wellness, with 3 premier facilities in Missoula and a dedicated staff to help you achieve and maintain your health and wellness goals. Denny, what do we got over there?
We have got a good friend of Sports Talk tonight, the fabulous Dina Griffin from Stevensville, Montana. How you doing tonight, Dina?
Doing great.
All right. Well, we are going back, as Gurns pointed out, 30 years. I don't know how I typoed 20 on that, but 30 years to Montana-Portland State football because Grizz and the Vikings are going at it on Saturday. And that was the first full season at Washington Grizzly Stadium. And the home opener against the Vikings, how did it go? A, Montana won 35-14. B, the team's tied at 24. Or C, Portland State won 21-3. What do you think, Dina?
Unfortunately, C, but that is not how it will go this weekend.
All right. That's the spirit. Were they still Division II
Yes.
at that point?
Yes, they were, and
Yeah.
that was one of the deals where that's where Coach Reed came from.
Yep.
Was Portland State, and they probably called him up and said, hey, help us out. And he went, okay, and he went, oh, man, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, we desperately needed the offensive firepower that Scott Guernsey would provide a few years later. We could only put a field goal on the board to start what would be a 6-5 campaign that year for Don Reed. Now, 1986, the previous season, that ended playing Portland State. That ended with that 35-14 win in 86, but 87, not so good. Hey, great job, Dina. Have you ever had a chance to go to, Silverwood, Scarywood, any of that stuff?
Never been, but excited to go.
Yeah, four tickets, so you can take the whole gang there and have a great time. I will get your prize package mailed out to you this evening, all right?
Great. Thanks, guys. Love to listen to you.
Thank you. Dina Griffin in Stevensville, our latest winner, Gerns.
She sounds like a very, very smart individual. She likes us.
Because of the love to listen part?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Doesn't just like, she loves.
Yes. If she were still on, she would say, Scott, one of my favorite parts is the steal of the week. That's I love it when you say that when Denny says it's brought to you by True North Steel, Western Montana's industry leader in quality manufactured and fabricated steel products, and then you come up with a great steal of the week.
So this means it's steal of the week time.
I'm just speculating what Dina might say.
Well, Denny, hold on. Let me get in the right tone here.
I'll drink a sip of water and catch my breath.
Well, the steal of the week this year comes from last Saturday. The Montana Grizzlies up 24-6 at halftime.
Oh, come on now.
And the Eastern Washington Eagles mount the comeback, and then we get up again, then they come back, and then they end up beating the Grizzlies 48-41. That is my steal of the week.
Oh, dear.
Dang it!
That was I suppose we should practice a little bit on Saturday. I think my lead sentence on our pregame show, which we are on the air, at 1 o'clock, I believe. Yes, we take the air. Scott and I take the air at 1 o'clock Saturday for statewide tailgate show. I'm sure it's a lot of coaches said it. I remember the Bobby Houck used to say it a lot, is that, man, you cannot let a loss like that beat you twice.
Hey,
you worry about, you just worry about the psyche and the I don't know.
Well, you know what? And I guess this will be a let's wait stupid for the last segment, Denny. Let's get to the Big Sky Conference and last week's game. They talk about the closeness and the cohesion of this team, and it will be never tested as strongly as it will be this week. You lose a heartbreaker. You've got a freshman quarterback making his first start. You've lost your leader the week before. Understandable if your Daubers are down a little bit. But a tough Portland State road trip going to Hillsborough High School to play the game against a Portland State team who played pretty good against a BYU and an Oregon State, although they aren't very strong, neither of them.
I'm not sure if either one has won a game other than against Portland State.
And then UC Davis comes and cleans your clock at home.
Yeah, hangs it on you pretty good.
So, I was reading that Portland State plays 11 true freshmen. Just crazy how young they are. Their quarterback is a true freshman.
Right. A passing running threat.
And he doesn't pass very well. About 45% completion percentage. Doesn't even run that much. I mean, he leads the team, but he's got like 150 yards in 3 games.
You cannot let an offense like that beat you. Even I took a look once. I found out that at first I thought, hey, Missoula weather, it looks like it might hold through the weekend. Found out otherwise, so I thought, well, I better check the Portland forecast. And right now they're saying about a 70% chance of showers with a high of 66, I want to say.
Okay.
So weather could be a factor a little bit, but for what it's worth, I don't even know what that means, but you cannot let a quarterback and that kind of an offense pile it on you.
It was a crazy weekend in the Big Sky. You've got a lot of points scored. Eastern Washington, Montana, 48-41. Northern Colorado against Idaho State, 43-42. Kicks a field goal with no time left to win that game. Montana State, 49. North Dakota, 21. North Dakota's out like 10 starters right now. I mean, just reeling, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Weber State puts 41 on UC Davis. Sacramento State, 54. Southern Utah, 27. NAU, 28. Cal Poly, 10. I mean, a lot of high scores, and right now things, Northern Arizona beating Cal Poly. Okay, you saw that. Sac State beating Southern Utah. Yeah. Weber State over UC Davis. Yeah. Montana State, big surprise over North Dakota, but I guess not, knowing what's going on in North Dakota. Northern Colorado, Idaho State beats Reno. I mean, we put up 41 against, had a chance to, heck, we should have beat the number 11 team in the nation, although I don't think Eastern is that good. Just really, it's interesting so far.
Yeah, it is.
It is interesting.
You hate to lose a conference game, period, but when you start 0-1, you let one get away last Saturday. And now you're 0-1, so now you just got this head game stuff going on, Gurns, that makes me a little bit nervous. But like you say, we've been told a lot of unity and character on that team, and it's like you say, going to be tested.
Great matchups in the Big Sky Conference this weekend too. Montana goes to Portland State. Weber goes to Montana State. That could be a really good game. Cal Poly at Idaho State, I don't even care.
And Cal Poly lost their premier running back, Joe Prothero.
Yeah.
He's done. His career is over, which is a sad thing.
Sac State goes to Eastern Washington, which could be interesting. Northern Colorado at NAU could be a good game. And North Dakota goes to UC Davis, and I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, well, UC Davis has got to be the favorite in this game. I don't know why. But, hey, who knows?
Yep.
Denny, let's take one more quick break. We're going to talk. You know what we're going to talk about?
Well, I know. I have a little interesting tale to tell, a tale out of school to tell after the break. So,
well, hey.
About scheduling this game, this upcoming game on Saturday.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for some insight from Mr. Denny Bedard.
I've never had it before. It's kind of exciting.
Sports Talk Tonight.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk Tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We're back. Sports Talk Tonight with Gurns and Bedard, brought to you in part by Jerry Wessel's Tire Center. Locally owned Les Schwab Tire Center provides the best tire value promise. Visit them online at jerrywesselstirecenter.com. By CHS Mountain West Co-op, Western Montana source for Cynics fuel, feed, fertilizer, clothing, and tack for over 75 years. I'd like to thank our special guest, Kurt Paulson, Oregon State men's basketball director, and he is brought to you, as all our guests are, by First Montana Bank, your home for free centennial checking, plus unlimited cash back every time you use your debit card online at firstmontanabank.com.
And we don't want anybody going, hey, you have an Oregon State assistant, you don't have the Montana head coach on? Yeah, well, we're saving him. We're saving Travis.
You just wait. You wait.
We'll show you.
We'll have Travis.
Show you a thing or two. The little piece of scuttlebutt, and you can help me on this, Gurns, because I know you've heard something about it too. Montana at Portland State football on Saturday. Portland State Stadium, which I know you know a little bit about. Not the greatest of facilities to begin with, but the Vikings have been displaced because of, I believe, some major soccer event.
I want to say it's the women's Portland Timbers, or
it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and
so. They cannot use their football facility Saturday, and so they're going to is it a high school venue? It seats like 7,200 people.
Hillsborough High School, and that is the stadium that they played in for 2 years when they were remodeling PGE Park. I don't know if it's called PGE Park, but
so won't name sources, and not quite sure how it all came to be, but it's our understanding the University of Montana stepped up and said, would you like to use Washington Grizzly Stadium as your home venue for the game against us? Which I interpret that to mean, it's your revenue, your take of the gate. I mean, we'll have to cover costs, but you would take this gate, and I also, the way I understand it, is the coaching staff of Portland State was, they were fairly upbeat about it. Athletic administration said no way.
Yeah, that's what I had heard, that the coaching staff and the players thought that might be a pretty cool idea to come out here and play in our stadium, and yeah, they kibosh on it by the powers that be.
Understandable.
But
you would probably generate as much home game revenue in Missoula at that one game as you do your entire home schedule at Portland State, because I don't think they draw particularly
well. No. And I will tell you this, as far as aesthetics go, besides Washington Grizzly Stadium, that Portland State Stadium is the coolest place to play.
Oh.
It really is. When you're sitting there, they've got the Multnomah Club, which is a big workout facility in one end zone looking out over the thing. You're looking at the skyline of Portland, because it was an old baseball stadium, and so it's like an L-shaped, and there's the outfield wall it's probably like 50 yards from the outfield wall to the sideline on the visitors, and it's definitely not perfect, but it's a cool place to watch a game.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Okay.
But anyways, hey Denny, let's get to stupid of the week.
You bet. Stupid athlete of the week.
Brought to you by Scott Guernsey and the Montana Way. Okay, we already talked about the FBI thing with Louisville and the other stuff.
Yes.
9 players from the University of Florida football team have been suspended indefinitely.
Oh, poor Coach McElwain.
As a result of a credit card scandal. Stolen credit cards, buying stuff. I mean, come on. Are you serious? I mean, you can go in and find out when and where that card was used and dial back a camera and see stupid. I don't know what's going on. But the stupid coach of the week for me is Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, some teams, including my Seattle Seahawks, which I do not believe that they made the right decision, but the Pittsburgh Steelers took a vote, and it was like 55% to 45% to stay in the locker room. So it was kind of a divided locker room, but they wanted to do something as a team. Alejandro Villanueva, who is a 3-tour veteran, Bronze Star winner, decides that he needs to go out there and represent himself and military, whatever, and put his hand over his chest, and which I think is great. Well,
he tried to be, fairly subtle and inconspicuous about it, which I'm sure that goes over really well when you're like a 6'9" offensive lineman. But he didn't come out of the tunnel very far, just far enough to be in the venue. It's kind of like, I guess if I can't remember the exact wording of the rules of etiquette for the national anthem, and we're running out of time here, but it's like this. If I'm trying to get into Washington Grizzly Stadium and I'm still out in the parking lot and I cannot,
don't go in.
You don't go in, but I mean you don't necessarily. You're not in the arena where the anthem's being performed. Therefore, it's not wrong to, if you forgot to take your cap off, or if you forgot to stop, put your hand on your heart. Rules of etiquette say that's not necessary. But he wanted to be out in the stadium.
He wanted to be out in the stadium, and after the game, Mike Tomlin rips him for it. Says, we decided this as a team. Now you're going against a team, and that was wrong. And then Villanueva goes to a press conference, and he apologizes for doing that. And it's like, wait a minute. It's okay to break away from the team and kneel because you believe something, but it's not okay, being a military guy, to come out and put your hand over your heart and pay respect to the flag. I mean, which way do you want it? Because you can't have it both ways. And number one, it is a rule that you have to stand and be out for the national anthem in the NFL. And it's finable, and it's suspendable. And it's like, okay, Roger Goodell, do we not have rules here? I mean, what's going on? So, I mean, and this is going to play out. Then you got Trump tweeting stuff, and you've got, I mean, I tell you what, though, Donald Trump, and this is partly why he got elected, he is saying what everybody else is thinking. I mean, you've got, I mean, I'm on my Facebook account, and people are canceling their DirecTV. They're burning jerseys. They're done with the NFL. And it's like it's kind of like being in a bar. You don't talk politics and you don't talk religion.
It is.
And I don't think religion, and I'm not a big fan of the Grizzlies going in the prayer circle after the game. Now, I'm glad they do it afterwards, but I just think, and this is my personal opinion, that whatever I believe in religiously, I'm going to believe in, and I'm going to do it on my own time. Whatever. But there's just, I don't know, Denny. What do you think?
It's, I found it very interesting that the most popular selling NFL jersey
last week,
Villanueva number, what is he at? Gosh, I don't know. Is he
79 or 78 or something?
Yeah. Villanueva's jersey was the most popular jersey, the NFL merchandising this past week. And well, it is this nonstop domino effect of unintended consequences. And okay, so this is how you kind of show your protest or your concern or whatever you want to call it. That's fine. But that doesn't mean that everybody else has to go, oh, okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. And we, you expect reaction, and don't pout and call us racist or whatever when it's not the reaction that you expected.
And free speech isn't free.
It's a weird deal.
I mean, you can say whatever you want, or do whatever you want, and that's why this country's so great. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be consequences or opinions based on what you do. So,
yeah. And, but my gosh, it's an overwhelming reaction. Ratings are down, and merchandising is down, and it's a bizarre deal, Scott.
We'll see how it plays out, Denny.
We will be on the air at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon with the Statewide Tailgate Show. Also, Bob Stitt Coach Show. Come on out to Brooks and Browns tomorrow evening from 6 till 7. And Gerns and I will see you Saturday right here on Sports Talk Tonight, buddy.
Great show, Denny. We're out of here.